tools or a good tools to generate enough money so that we will be able to buy whatever products that we need. So it's not just about money, it's the meaning behind that money and whether or not we can jump out from the depths. And I think, you know, that's very important. So that's the first one. So the second one I would like to share with you is this, right? We talk about education. So I guess each and every one of us somehow or other will go through certain level of education in our life, maybe from, you know, private schools or government schools and things like that. I personally came from what do you call that? I personally came from government schools, right? And you know, government school, it's all about results, right? It's results oriented. Okay, so whatever that you do, you know, whether you get noticed or not, it all depends on whether you get good results, right? And each and every point matters, which also means that each and every mistakes matters. So mistakes somehow or other make you look stupid. I'll give you an example. We go for mathematics exam, right? Sorry, just give me a minute. Vivian, can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you. Right. So essentially, what we do is that, say we go for a mathematics, exam, right? So the person sit beside you, say he got 98 marks and you got 96. So how do you feel? You should feel happy, right? Because essentially anything above 80 points, 80 marks, it's called distinction. It's good enough. But sadly, that currently the education system, you know, recognize you based on your, what do you call that? The least mistake that you do. So which means that people afraid to try, right? And, you know, I think it's hard. It's hard because all you do is to score a good point. And we actually neglected a lot of points, you know, how to work together with people, things like that. And of course, you know, during exam, you're not supposed to have teamwork, but in reality, you know, after you come out from school, in order to be good in your business or your work, you need to work as a team. During exam, if you do a teamwork, it's called cheating, right? So that somehow or rather affect us, you know, our thoughts on, you know, how we go about when we leave the school. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but I'm not saying that all the education system have this flaw, but there are also, you know, people who, or teacher who think differently. I'll give you an example. When I was in universities, right, because I went to government school, a Chinese government school. I studied Chinese until Form 6. Then I went to universities. So upon completing my degrees, I applied for a scholarship in University of Malaya to study my master's, and I got it. I was thankful. And, you know, my lecturer happened to be the head coach of, you know, English debating team in UM. So, you know, right, those who came from what do you call that, a Chinese language school, your English command will be compromised, right? So, but I was thankful then, because back then my supervisors told me this. I mean, essentially a few of us, right? He said that, wow, your English command is memalukan, right? And basically what he did was he forced few of us to go for the debate training together with, you know, all the elites. So can you imagine, at that moment, we felt so inferior, we felt so embarrassed, right, to even speak, because guess what? We're afraid to make mistakes. But, you know, I'm glad that today he forced us, which I thought turned out to be helpful, so that, you know, today we can speak fluent English. And big part of that is because of him. And not even that, even we're from Chinese school, we're given an opportunity to go for competition as well. And I remembered one of the best achievements that I got as a team. Three of us, I was basically guided by two seniors. So we went for a national novice debate championship, right? Inter-universities, and we made it to semifinals. So what I want to tell you is, sometimes mistake is not everything, right? Mistake makes us grow, and mistake give us achievements, right? So the next one is education system also train us to look for a job. And essentially, there's nothing much that we can choose from. And a lot of time, the nature of work that we choose is based on what course that we study. Our friend always state this, right? We're always trained to do what we can do best. But the question is that the best thing to do, right? So the third one that I want to share with you is actually about job or business. Especially at this moment, you see a lot of changes and uncertainty, right? In terms of job security, business have shifted. Today I just read newspaper, few more hotels were closed down in Malaysia, in Penang, in KL, and even in Ipoh, right? And you also see, some company were imposing salary card, getting away benefit and things like that. What is that so? Now, the reality is this. Companies are all profit oriented. Otherwise, they wouldn't set up a company, just to do a charity. No way. It's all about profit, right? But during crisis, when the profit are dropped, measures will be taken. What measures? They will start cutting costs, right? They'll start to retrench, and in order to maintain the profitability. Why so? Because if they can't even save themselves, why would they save us? As simple as that. And what I want to say is this, right? There is no right or wrong. This is just the rules of the game, right? And if we decided to play this game, we have to accept whatever outcome that happened, all right? So I want to tell you is everyone is replaceable. Today, they can sack us, right? But, tomorrow they can hire someone else to take over our job because there are so many people who is looking for a job. And one more thing that I feel the most is this. Our efforts are not accumulative. Now, I'll give you examples. Say after getting our degree, we start to work at the age of 25, right? And we work, and we retire at the age of 55. So we work for good 30 years. We put all our efforts in there. Now, let me ask you this question. What is the starting pay for a fresh graduate right now? Is it, say I give you 4,000. I think that's quite normal, right? And if you work for 30 years, is it possible that at the age of 55, each and every month, my salary goes up to 50,000 per month? It's possible, right? And in fact, it can be more, right? But the problem is this. At the age of 56, what is my pay? Zero, because I was no longer in the company, right? And, of all the hard work that I put in, the network that I built, whatever sales that I created, it all belongs to the company the moment I left my position, right? And replaced by others. And I was thinking of this. Before I start to work, my income is zero. The moment I retire, my income is zero. From zero to zero for the past 30 years, right? Why would I to persist for 30 years? So that question keep coming back to me, right? Whether or not I can do something else or create some things. But of course, you might say that, well, I know today I'm going to promote Amway, right? But as I said, I'm not here to convince you whether Amway is for you or not. But I'll share with you a few points why I choose this path, right? So that's the reality check that I'm sharing with you. So the next one I want to talk to you about, it's about business ownership. Now, business ownership can be a lot of things, not necessarily Amway. If you can produce a product, you build a market, essentially that's your business, right? So, a little bit about myself, how I started my business ownership. I mean, I don't look for business at that time. I was sponsored by my, secondary schoolmate, Ray. I want to thank him because without him, I won't be, sitting here today talking to you. And in fact, he changed my life. He provided a turning point for myself. When I'm from Penang, right, Bukit Mertajam. So I'm currently residing in KL for the past 15 years since my degrees. So in University of Malaya, after my degree, as I told you, I applied for scholarship, and then I start to do my master's. And at that time, things were okay, but I was looking for, extra income, as simple as that. And in University of Malaya, I was doing my master's. So every month we were paid about 1,005 or 1,007, I cannot recall. But all our tuition fees are taken care of, right? And what you need to do is, full-time research, doing a lot of research, help tutoring, help lecturers, doing things like that. But the scholarship were given on an annual basis. And if you look at the history, right, every year without fail, they will renew the scholarship, which means that we are safe. Problem is this, I think if I'm not mistaken, in 2009, there was an economic crisis, right? And, even the university funding was affected. So essentially overnight, our scholarship were not renewed. So at that time, a lot of people start panicking, asking money from parents, start to work just to cover our, expenses and also the tuition fees. Myself, I count myself lucky, right? Because 1 year in Amway business, I was able to generate about 3,000 to 4,000 at that time. And with the same effort, if you put it on today, you can easily make about 5,000 to 8,000 per month. So it took me 12 months, right, to build the business part-time. And I realized one thing. I was thankful at that time because I was just an postgrad student, right? But in this business, I was allowed to learn together with, bankers, general managers, lecturers, housewife, people from different background are provided with the same platform, regardless of what degree we have or whatsoever. And I thought, right, that was essentially one of the best business model, because you allow people to build the business not because of their resume or their CV, but because they have a need or they have a dream that can be realized in the platform. So the first point that I got was business ownership for everyone. If we were to build a business for ourselves, the best one is to build a business that can be offered or extend to everyone so that it can be duplicated, right? So the next one, this was me, and my wife, Jin Fei, many years ago. I think not many people saw this version of us, right? At that time, I was doing my, doing my master's. And we actually rented an apartment, right, near Kerinci, but now it's renamed Bangsa South. Okay, and together with us, I think you know them, Joanne and Wayne, right? We were housemates, we were coursemates as well. So I'm not sure whether she will kill me for, putting out this photo. But well, that's us, that's the fact, right? And, at that time, even before I graduate from my master's, I basically made about 4,000 to 5,000 per month. I was basically a platinum in the business, the things were good. So at that time, I thought the more money that I make, right, the better, so that I can provide a better life for myself and also my family. So, that's why for the past 10 years, right, even though I was platinum, I continued to work, right? And my last position was a product manager in one of the cancer research and diagnostics company. So things were good for both of us, in fact. You see, when you build a business to an emeraldship, right, on part-time basis, you get six-figure annual income. And my job actually, reward me with another six-figure income. My wife worked as a procurement manager, earn another six-figure income. So essentially, we have three different sources of six-figure annual income, right? And life was good, right? Until last year, when we have everything, we sit down, we discuss. We thought the higher we climb, we have more pressure, right, in our conventional job. And although we earn more, we have less time. And at that time, we were expecting our first baby, right? So I decided that, it's time for me, to decide whether I want more money or I want a more balanced life. And that's when I actually go full-time in the business. But for the past 10 years, when I work part-time, right, money-wise, we actually gain. But, when I see our friends, right, Wayne and Joanne, they, like Wayne, he decided not to work. He go full-time in the business just for a short 5 to 10 years. We see a lot of changes. He just focused on one thing and he built the business to to EDC, right? Executive Diamond. So that's the difference. I want to show you this, right? The question that I want to ask is that, can we focus on one thing, right? The longer we build, the more money we have. But at the same time, we can have peace of mind as well. And that's essentially I saw in him. So initially, I thought I was giving hope to him by showing him this business. But end of the day, I realized that they too provide us with hope, right? By showing us that this business can be done in a bigger scale. So what I want to tell you is this: if you want to build any business, time is the best evidence, because we can't waste more time just to trial and error on each and every different industry. We have no time, right? But the thing is, if someone have showed us that this can be done, I think, that's the best evidence that we have. Talking about business ownership, there are a lot of business that we can try from. But the thing is, whether the business, or I should say this, right? Whether the business is solid, right? The only time that we can tell is during crisis. At this moment, we're in, crisis in MCO. And if you are selling luxury cars, you're selling a luxury travel package, I guess you'll be affected. Even if you own a 5-star hotel, you will suffer as well. But during good time, all these are good business. But during crisis, it's not, right? I want to show you this. The wealth will be redistributed whenever there is a crisis. It won't be lost, but it will be redistributed based on one thing, which is the essential needs of the market. So this is actually published by the New Straits Times, saying that all businesses have to close except these 10 categories: food, water, energy, communication, internet, security, and so on. Which means that whether there is a good time or bad time, these 10 industry will go on. And out of this 10, I would say that 3 of them is actually related to Amway business. And the key point is, if I were to build a business, I want to build something based on demand, right? Whereby whether there's a crisis or not, there will still be demand. And I think that will be the best yardstick, to justify whether this business can be done or not. Next one is this. You can have a business, right? And each and every business will have a products. And product is very important. The thing is, if you look at Amway product, we actually have more than 450 value-added products on fast-moving consumer goods. Essentially, these are all daily necessities. So it actually provides another options, right, for the consumer to switch brand. But this is what I want to tell you. I'll give you an example. Say today I'm a CEO of Apple, right? I'm conducting this Zoom meeting. And I actually want to offer all of you, because you take time to come into this Zoom meeting, I want to offer you this. I want to offer you the sole distributorship of Apple iPhone, original Apple iPhone to you by just paying 1,000 ringgit. Would you want it? I'm sure a lot of people want it, right? Because essentially, if you take up this offer, you are the only one, or they are the only few here that can sell iPhone to the whole Malaysia. Is that good? So essentially, you just paid 1,000 ringgit, right? And I will give you this distributorship. But there is a clause in there. The iPhone that you sell is Apple iPhone 4. Then you will not want it, right? Apple iPhone 4 used to be a best product in the market at that time, but no longer relevant now, because now we have a more advanced iPhone, right? So essentially, you can start a business, you can create a product, but the product have to, be updated with the current needs of the market. And this is what I want to point out, right? In order to have that privilege, you need to have laboratories and research and development. And Amway has got more than 1,000 scientists in 75 R&D labs around the world to produce product that is in the advancement of the market. More importantly is this: whatever technology that is invented is actually patented globally, and we have more than 1,200 patents worldwide. So that actually create a pipeline. When you see a company, it's not what product you have right now, but more importantly is that what else product that you are going to launch for the next 5 years. We paid a visit to the headquarters of Amway in US, I think 2 or 3 years back, and this is what we were told. All the products have already been lined up 3 to 5 years ahead before its launch. And that is actually essentially, what I want to talk about. Right now we talk about global warming, we talk about pollution and things like that. Do you know that in 1989, Amway was the second company in the world awarded with the United Nations Environmental Program Achievement Award, meaning that all the products are actually biodegradable and environmental friendly. We have started so much earlier. And that is why if today we are in the business of high demand, but at the same time we can supply good product, not just selling, but to add value, to the market. And I think that's a no-brainer deal, right? So the next one I want to talk to you about, regardless of how good is the proposal, I want to start the business, I want to own a business and things like that. It's all about one word called the viability, whether this business can be done or not. You see, during MCO, people start worrying. Even ourselves, we start worrying as well. So we thought, will it actually affect our business, right? And in fact, our business grew. Just for the past 1 week plus, a few of us actually sat down and said, come on, let's make some decision whereby we want to grow this business together. In fact, all of us are non-related in the business, whereby if each and every one of us makes money, the other person, it doesn't, have an interest in any parties, but because the business taught us to work as a team, right, on the platform of ECVI. And, that's essentially how we go. Just for 1 week plus, we basically sponsored, more than about, I think, 60 or 70 people's right now. And, if we counted from the MCO, we could have sponsored more than 100 people's. Sponsored meaning that we propose to the people, people actually sign up because they want the business or they love the products. So we felt that regardless of whether there is crisis or not, things, business as usual. And more importantly is it's viable. It can be done, right? And of course, compared to others, our result were not as significant as others, but I thought this would be a superb or a good start, okay? So I've talked to you about the reality, right? I've talked to you about why business ownership matters. And the third point I want to share with you today, I want to talk to you about compassion. Why compassion matters in the business, right? Now, if you look at Forbes, right, the page that we always go is to see who's the richest in the world, right? Who makes more money this year? So we will have top 100, top 200, and even top 400, businessmen in the world. But have you gone to this page of Forbes whereby they also list out the top givers in the world, whereby those who donate the most? Amway was started in 1959 by two great men called Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel. So essentially, they were not even the top 100 earner, right, in America. But the thing is this, they were the number 26 in terms of, giving out. So what I want to tell you is this: are we in the business of making profit, right? But at the same time, have compassion. Saying is easy, but what I want to tell you is this: if I were to build a business, I would build a business that leadership was shown, right? Leadership by examples. And that's the reason why, say you want to try something, you want to work together with people who have done it themselves, not just talk about it, right? So, yep, that's what we call compassion. Money were donated, and to have R&D in healthcare and also environmental related foundation. Next question is this: regardless of how long your company is, or regardless of how long your business is, will it be sustainable? I'm not making any comparison or things like that, but this is, lately we saw the news, right? This company actually was a multinational company, and they were in, I think, a lot of countries, which include Australia and New Zealand. And because of the during crisis, right, they decided to pull out from the market. That's okay. But can you imagine, this company has been in these two companies for the past 50 years, 50. And can you imagine if you build this business in that two countries, suddenly all your hard work for the past, say, 50 years were gone just overnight. So the question that I got is this: you see, Amway, started in 1959, more than 60 years. In Malaysia, it's more than 41 years. It's also possible for Amway to pull out, right? And I can only tell you that it's very hard to say, but we should check on the history, right? Have crises happened before? Yes. If you look at Amway right now, there are in more than 100 countries and territory in the world. And one of them in 1974 was Amway Hong Kong, right? So at that time, Amway wasn't well receptive or accepted by the market. So, the market, right, can only produce one platinum 6 years later after the company was established in Hong Kong. Now, I give you an idea what is a platinum, right? In Malaysia right now, if you are a platinum, essentially your turnover that 1 year in ringgit, it's about 400,000 ringgit. And can you imagine, at that time, if you minus out the inflation, the amount might be even smaller. And Amway actually persisted, right, and trust the business owners for 6 years, right? And it kept operating. And with that, in year 2018, from one platinum, say is 400,000, it grew to 2.9 billion Hong Kong dollar, which is essentially about 1.62 or 1.63 billion ringgit. So the beauty of the business is this, right? The company is not focusing building on business only, but the co-founder believe in building the people first, because they believe that if you put enough love, if you put enough training, if you put them into the right environment, when people grow, business will grow as well. So it's not just about profit that we are looking at, but we are looking at profit that are sustainable. And it can only happen if compassion is there, right? So this is one of the examples. I want to share with you, a story, right? This is actually a beggar who is blind, right? Blind means cannot see. So what he did was, he need to beg for money in order to survive, so that he can use the money to buy food on daily basis. So he wrote a postcard, right? He said, "I'm blind, please help." And he put beside him. So, when people pass by, you want to give him some coins or money, right? Because you feel sympathy and you want to help that person. Meaning that each and every one of us actually have the compassion within us. It's just that in what way are we helping, the person that we want to help? So, a young lady passed by, saw this poor blind man, right? So she wanted to help. She could have, done the same as others by, giving this blind man some coins, right? But she decided not to. She took the postcard, right? She turned it back and wrote something for him. She wrote, "It's a beautiful day. and I can't see it. And he put this card beside the same beggar. And guess what happened? When people passed by, he got more money. You know, this young lady didn't even give a single coin to this beggar. But what she have done is that she realized something, right? Um, the beggar will have to depends on this young lady on daily basis if she were to give him coin. But she decided that she want to help so that when although she's not there in the future, this beggar can earn his own money and in fact can earn more. Now the difference is this: the fact is still the same. The beggar is still blind. He is still a beggar. But the tools that were provided to this beggar actually change the perception and also deliver the right message to the people, meaning that that lady actually add value to this beggar, right? So if you look at these two signs, right, I'm blind, please help, it's like I'm begging people, okay? But if you look at this, it's a beautiful day, oh my God, but I can't see it. Your compassion will turn on instantly, right? And you feel you want to help that people because you get his message. Same thing in Amway. Today, when we're in the Amway business, a lot of people were begging people, you know, to buy products and things like that. That's why people don't want. But what we should do is to add value. You know, I started this business when I was doing my master's. At that time, I can tell you there were no shops. The online platform wouldn't establish yet. You know, we don't have a complete support system to support us. We're starting on our own. We trial and error a lot of things, and essentially we even, you know, focus on just selling, right? And people got annoyed. And you know, through a few years later, trial and error, we realized this: in order to success in each and every business, not just Amway, we have to add value. It's not just about selling, but we have to add value. Whatever that we shared, whatever product that we offered, will it add value to the person that we want to share? And if we can focus on this, you'll be amazed that, you know, results can be overwhelmed. So this business is about helping people live better lives, right? If you focus on adding value. But if we choose to focus on, say, just sell things and, you know, we're not helping people live better lives. We're sucking people blood until dry, right? So let me share with you in reality, right? Helping people live better lives is not just about making money, right? It's about person. This is a human being business. You know, this lady is Allison, right? On your left, what I want to tell you is these two is actually the same person, okay? um, Allison and Pei Han, they're actually proud parents of two kids, Joy and Jeremy. Um, on your left, that was Allison when she delivered her second baby, right? And the middle one, on your right one, is actually Allison right now. You see, this business not just change your, not just change you financially, not just upgrade you financially, but in fact, it turned you in a new person. And this business, I always joke with Pei Han, right, her husband, that this business is so compassionate that it allows you to own a new wife, right? And this is Allison right now. And the transformation is just awesome. The awesome part is just not her transformation, but if you know how old she is today, which I can't reveal, but what I can do is I can provide you with her Instagram. You can message her and ask her about it. Business is not just about making money. It's also about personal transformation. Imagine if you are this lady, right? You don't have to talk to people. People will talk to you because they saw your transformation. Same as me. I'm not a outgoing person, right? If you are close to me, then yes, I am. But essentially, if we are not close, I won't talk to you. And that's just me. But in the business, we grow up, right? We transform for the better. So it's about helping people live better lives. And this is a real life example. There are plenty more examples that I can show you, but time just not allowed today, right? So yeah, maybe in the future I'll show you more. This is actually a story that I want to share with you, right? This is actually a group of people, they were lost in the jungle and, they haven't been eaten for the past 3 days. So can you imagine when you have not eaten for the past 3 days? You're very hungry, right? Essentially, will eat everything in front of you. So God sympathy this group of people, right? So God actually provide them with with a dining table, a round dining table, with a long spoon and a pot of soup, nice uh, mushroom soups. Okay, so when you are hungry, when you are desperate, what people will do is that they will scoop the soup and try to feed themselves. And can you imagine if you have a long spoon? It's very hard for you to feed yourself, right? So everyone got even hungrier. They wasted their food, and they just got desperate. And one day not one day, at that moment they decided to change their strategy, right? So instead of feeding themselves, they feed the person in front of them, right? And they do it mutually, which means that I feed you and you feed me. Number one, the food is not wasted, right? Number two, everyone is full, end of the day. This is the business about people helping people help themselves, whereby the reason why we help people is that we want to add value to them. We want to see them grow financially and also personally. But at the same time, if we're able to do that, the business so compassionate enough that the design of the plan will actually add value back to you. I'll give you an example, right? This is me, okay? And I came into the business because someone brought me into the business. Said her name is my friend, say Che Karani, right? So she came into the business 2 years before me. And on top of me, she actually add value to another two-person. So she was essentially an emerald in the business. She earned about 250,000 per year. I came in 2 years later, right? But I was a bit lazy, not as hardworking as my friend here. And I brought in a person. His name is Alden. His education background wasn't as great as me, but he has got the big dreams, right? I only brought her into the business 5 years later after I joined. So essentially, my reward, my level is just a founder's platinum because I only add value to one people, and my annual income is 120,000, less than A because I work lesser. And look, our friend here, C, right? He came in 5 years later, but he has got a bigger dreams. He built a bigger business, right? And he add value to 6 people, and he became a diamond. Although he came in later than us, he was rewarded even more as a diamond because he helped more people. And that's what we call people helping people help themselves. The more people we add value, right, the more we can gain. And this is what we really want. Because if you look at the conventional relationship in business or employment, it's very hard. If I'm a manager, I wouldn't, tell everything I know to my assistant manager because they will take over me, right? I wouldn't want that. But in the business, I will share with you everything that I know so that you can be on your own. You can excel in the business. You can earn more as well. When I doing this slide, right, I was looking back through my journey in the business, and there are a few people that I was very thankful for. Number one, on your left is my, my friend and also my sponsors who essentially brought me into the business. His name is Ray. I was thankful to him not because he introduced this business to me or he did anything to me, but I think he sponsored, that means he recruited about 60 people on 2 or 3 months time when he first started the business. And I was the last few people that he approached. And I actually asked why I was the last few people, because he thought, I wouldn't build the business because of my character. I'm not an outgoing person. I like to debates, I do debates with facts and things like that. I'm sure you have that kind of friend as well. But he did this great thing, right? He shared with the same compassion, right? He shared with the same enthusiasm without expecting any return. Guess what? Oh, that's 60 people. I'm the only one who built the business, right? So I'm thankful to him. Because of him, my life changed, right? And the person in between us is Vincent, right? He was the very first person who gave me an idea, the concept about the business, right? The first question that he asked me was not telling me to focus in doing Amway. Essentially, he was telling me about life. He asked me, what if the coming 10 years is my parents' last 10 years? What will I do? And that question actually built a foundation, right, on my direction of building the business, whereby I want to be successful in owning a business so that I can have more time and money and to give back to my family and my loved one, right? So I'm thankful for them. The other person, that always inspired me was the late, at that time was a founder's diamond, Dr. Aziz. He passed away last year, and, I was shocked. He was a neuroscientist, a lecturer in but he built the business as well. So I wasn't related to him in any way, which means that even if I grow the business, he wouldn't get anything out of me. So there's no interest involved. But every time, this is the beauty of the business. Every time when I met him, the first thing he would do is to shook my hand. And then he asked me this, "Kid, when are you going diamond?" Right? And this happened 1 month before Dr. Aziz passed away. He asked me, I still remember it was in Amway HQ, right, near the reception area. He shook my hand. He said, "Kid, when are you going diamond? If you need any help, please let me know," right? So this is how great he is. We weren't even related in the business. And I'm also thankful to, Mr. and Mrs. Sunny Ho, founder of ECVI. I wasn't related to them as well, right? But, I felt that the genuine and the sincerity actually touched me. They are a multi-billion business owner in Amway worldwide, right? I would say the turnover in Thailand is, 2 times in Malaysia, and they basically own about 30 to 40% of the business volume over there. But they actually gave us an in-depth, right, about the business potential. They actually encouraged me, right, to be better in the business. And, even if I grow business, I grow into diamonds or whatever, he won't even get a single cent from me. I couldn't understand why these people, right, would want to add value to something that are not related to their interests. And after I read the Compassionate Capitalism book, I realized one thing. The business believe in helping others to help themselves, right? Because when we share our time and money to guide and teach, we're only giving back a part of what has already been giving back to us. And essentially, this will not happen in conventional business because there are limited places that we can go up. And if we teach this, the same people in different people in the same industry, essentially we are actually growing our competitors. But that's not the case in Amway, right? So what I get and what I got about this business is about the genuine mentorship. And I realized that the reason why we do this, right? The reason why we shared with you today is because we believe that the more people break through in the business, the more examples and more inspiration we will have. And that will make the business ecosystem so great that, any person that you invited to will be attracted and all the resources will be shared among us, right? And that therefore we'll be able to grow together in the business. The last point that I will share with you is this. It's about freedom of choice, right? I've talked to you about the reality. I've talked to you about the business ownership, and I've talked to you about why compassion matters, right? Last but not least, I'll talk to you about the freedom of choice, right? You see, if everyone have a choice, right? You can do any choice that you want in life. Now we have alphabets, right? From A to Z, from A to Z. What if I ask you a question whereby, can you choose 2 alphabets to describe our whole life? I will choose B because B is born, right? And I will also choose D because D is death. So basically all of us, whether you like it or not, we will have to go through this B and D journey. And how long between our B and D, that's actually depending on how, how good we take care of ourselves. Some people B to D is very short because they met accident or they have cancers because they don't take care of themselves, right? This is something that we can or we cannot control. But the thing is this, regardless of how long from B to D, right? Have you thought how do you want to go through this journey, right? And between B and D, there is one alphabet called C. Now, a lot of people will say this C is cash, C is chomel, but C is actually a choice, right? Regardless of what choice we make, there is no right or wrong. It's just that we have to live with it and we have to be responsible to each and every choice that we make. So I was thankful, right? I wasn't, looking for Amway, but I was introduced to the business indirectly. I wasn't interested to build initially, but I built it anyway because I want to earn some extra income. But today is no longer about income anymore, because when you have income, right, it's about time that you want to spend with the people that we love, right? And that's some of the reward that I got from Amway, where I'm able to spend with the people that I love. And I learned this, right? I learned this. Love people and use money, right? We can own a business, right? And we make money from there. Spend it on the people that we love. Because the reason why I said this is because too often in this world, right, people use people and love money instead of love people and use money. And that actually drives me, right, to work even harder, because I realize I can contribute back even more if I build it even bigger, right? So the last thing that I want to share with you today is this. It's a choice, right? A lot of people were saying that, wow, you and your wife, in fact, your household income, you actually have 3 six-figure annual income. Why would you want to give up your job? You can still, build it on a part-time basis and still get everything from there. I want to share with you this, right? Let's say if you were offered the job, your starting pay, you start work at 25, right? At the age of 25. Your income per month as a fresh grad is 4,000. Okay, you work until 55 years old. And this is the offer. If you stay with me from 25 until 55, the company actually offered you an increment monthly 1,000 every year. Essentially, you basically earn about 30 over 1,000 to 40,000 per month when you retire, which I thought, wow, was good, right? For a middle income, middle class like us. So if you choose that, right, you're actually earning about $7 million by contributing the time and effort in that particular company, right? So you earn your money when you retire, right? You also use up a lot of time, right? But in MA business, right, I don't start at 25, say I am 35 examples, right? Is it too late for me then? Let's see. Say if it started at the age of 35, my annual income is 0 because I took first year to learn, right? And people will say, you're stupid because you don't earn anything for the first year. But subsequent year, I became a platinum, right? I earn about 80,000, right, per year. So, you think whether it's viable or not. 10 years ago, when we started the business, we were only students. We have no money. There is no online platform. There is no shops. There's only warehouse. There's no business school that is established. We are able to do that in 1 year time. So it's definitely doable today, right? So I took, say, the subsequent year, I become a founder's platinum. I add value to one person and my annual income became 120,000, right? So for the next 5 years, I don't grow, right? And on the 6 years, I became an MRO, right? I basically help another 2 people, right? And I earn about 250,000 per year. And it took me 12 years to achieve diamond. 12 years to achieve, 12 years to add value to 6% and became a diamond. You will see this value is only for illustration purposes, right? And today, if you make the same effort, you earn even more. And 16 years later, I decided to, add value to total 7 people, and I became a Founders Diamond, 7-leg Founders Diamond. right? And you know what? Amway is about passive income, right? I work hard for the initial, say, 5 years, okay? I still, you know, comparatively, I basically earn 18 million because if I can live until 80 years, the longer you live, the more you earn. This is the difference, right? You still need to put effort, but the time might be shorter, right? But the difference is it's passive income that we are looking at. So today in real life, are we actually chasing figure or are we actually creating value? Figure is just about money, right? But value is about time and money and the nature of the income as well. Is it a passive income or is it an active income? Active income means the moment we stop, the income will stop as well. So that's what I want to talk to you about today about compassionate capitalism. I've talked to you about four things. Number one, we talk about reality, right? Number two, we talk about why business ownership is the way to go. Number three, why compassion matters. And number four, it's the freedom of choice. So there's no right or wrong. It's all about choice that we make today, right? So with that, I thank you very much for your time and also your attention. I hope my sharing is helpful to you. And this is what I want to urge, right? Talk to the people who bring you here today, right? Talk to them. How do I build the business? I can tell you it's only a simple 3 steps, right? And everyone can do it. With that, I thank you very much for your kind attention and wish you all the best. Stay safe and be awesome, everyone. Thank you.